Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at HIMS and HERS health. It is time for another update, and on this chart on the large time frame we are tracking a leading diagonal that would be forming here to the upside, where we have a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down. Then we are now in the larger wave 3 structure to the upside, and within this wave 3 so far we are tracking a pattern where we have the A wave complete here, the B wave down, and then in this wave C we have the wave 1, 2, 3 and probably 4th complete, and now we are looking for an ABC pattern to develop within the 5th wave to the upside to complete this wave C, completing the larger wave 3 structure. Now other interpretations could work out. They could be developments that occur here on this chart. I do have both more bullish and more bearish interpretations, but I believe this is a nice middle ground that seems like a good structure, a good idea to be tracking at the moment. And as long as we hold, I suppose we could go quickly through those scenarios. As long as we hold the 61.8% retracement, we can still allow for this to develop as the 5th wave to the upside. But if we fall below such a level, we would probably need to shift to one of the other scenarios. And one of them could be that we had already topped here within this wave 3, where it could have been something like an ABC movement to the upside. And then we would have a 1, 2, 3 complete, and we would be looking at a much larger correction in that case in a wave 4. Then another possibility that would actually be even more bullish would be that this A wave had actually topped here instead of having an A wave and a wave 1 to the upside, and then this would be the wave B correction, and then here we would have an initial 1, 2 setup that again in either case it could have already bottomed here. So at the moment all scenarios are possible, even from this bottom, this local bottom that we have marked as the wave 4, but my preferred scenario remains the idea that we are tracking at the moment an ABC structure to the upside. And in this idea we have a wave A that has formed in 5 waves. It is a 5-wave structure to the upside in a leading diagonal. Then we are looking for an ABC correction to develop most likely within this wave B, where we have a support zone for such a correction in the area between the $46.7 level all the way down to the $30 level at the 78.6% retracement, where as long as we hold above the 78.6% retracement, we do have still just as high a likelihood to still form a C wave to the upside and complete this pattern. But at the moment I do find it likely that we haven't necessarily bottomed yet within this wave B, and I am personally looking for another low. And in the previous video we were tracking this initial movement to the downside as an A wave down. We had here a B wave that I was assuming that it had a good chance of having a top, and we had already formed a possible 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 1, 2 setup that could have developed, but it seems that it wanted a reset. Now all it really did is push into resistance, and we got stuck at the 78.6% retracement. We did get a couple of weeks above it, but essentially in the end it ended up failing anyway, and now we are looking for the C wave to continue within this structure. Now since we have formed an additional high and a reset within this wave B, I do need to look for a new target for such a wave C, and that would be the ideal target at the the 100% extension, the $37.9 level, where it doesn't need to get there and it doesn't need to stop there. It is just an ideal target, as I always say, for the wave C, the 100% extension of the wave A. And I suppose now we could shift to the smaller time frame structure, and I believe I would prefer to track this as resistance, this resistance here that we have in red. And before we go to the short time frame where we are tracking this wave C to the downside, I do want to point out I'm not excluding the possibility that we have already bottomed. After all, we did reach the support zone that we had here for the wave B correction, and if you really are interested in an entry as soon as possible for something like a 1, 2 in this area, and you don't care about getting an entry any lower, we are essentially already within the support zone for such a pattern. where yeah, we have support between the the $54.5 level all the way down to the $45 level. Now personally, I do find it, I would find it better, I would find the structure more complete, more clear if we formed another low. But yeah, it, you know, it can always start the rally early. We could always just have the wave C start the development. Now at this point it is not known which pattern it will really follow, but internally within this wave C, I may be able to argue that we have here a double, or sorry, a 1, 2, and then a third wave that would be complete to the downside, where an ideal target for such a wave 3 would be the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. And in this case, yeah, we did reach it, we did fulfill these expectations, and in that case we may be able to even track such a count to the downside. But let me be clear, within such a wave C we wouldn't get to anywhere to the ideal target with this structure developing. Now if this develops as such a structure, I would be looking at it as a wave 1, and I would be looking for a correction in a wave 2 before we start an even stronger third wave to the downside. But oftentimes in such a structure, it happens that yeah, it does develop as a series of 1, 2 setups instead, something like this. Then this would still be the third wave to the downside, and then we could get a series of 4 or 5 patterns to develop. Now another way that could unfold in this area would be that we still have here a 1, 2, and then we get here another 1, 2 instead, and then we follow in the third wave to the downside. Now in either case, for such a correction that would follow from this point, I would still be looking mostly at the area of resistance for a wave 4 between the $51.7 level all the way up to the $54 level. And that is because in such structures we generally see pretty shallow retracements, yeah, and even if this turns out being a 1, 2, it is likely it won't get past the 50% retracement anyway. But yeah, we need to allow for a bit more space for a more clear invalidation of a possible 1, 2 setup in this area. Now if we actually go up and break above this beginning of the supposed 1, 2, or this beginning of the third wave, yeah, it is likely that it is not developing this wave C in an impulse, and especially not this wave 1 to the downside or in a direct fashion like this. It could still develop in a diagonal structure to the downside, but then yeah, all the internal subwaves would be formed of an A, B, and C wave. Now there isn't much else to add at this point. I still prefer lower. I do believe the chart would look better with another low. And yeah, you have the support zone areas, you have the resistance areas, and if we break above the wave B top that we have reset just now, we have probably bottomed in this correction already, and yeah, we are probably in the wave C to the upside. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.